Good morning, Scott here. Hope you're well. So, quite a few things are set up now. So, strap yourselves in for a lot of opportunity today, hopefully. Things are looking very good. Lots of reversals starting to happen. We're getting proof of a change of direction and some setups are really getting ready to go. So, let's get straight into this. Right, the screen. Video. Okay, so you can now see my screen. We have quite a few nice looking setups. Now, all these were, most of these were on my list yesterday as possibles. They've all set up quite nicely. So let's start off with Aussie yen. This is my list here, my best watch list. You see there's quite a few. Many are similar, but it's all good. So what do we have? Aussie yen on the daily. We have very overbought, pulling back, pull back below the daily 50 to this support line here. And then we saw some deceleration yesterday and the previous couple of days, or like that last day or so, and then a big reversal yesterday with a good low test candle and closing in the positive. So it's looking like it's going to be an update today. We're not looking for too much because the daily 50 is just above us. So just a quick in and out trade. This is the hourly. I'll zoom into just the hourly. And here we have, here's the pullback, here's the breakdown here. Here's the wick from yesterday, and it's broken above the hourly 50 here. The fibs line up quite well. And you'll notice the 382 on the fib is slightly behind the hourly 50. But it's close. And also we have the pivot line. The daily pivot line is blue ones. The blue line here, the blue with the P. There's your daily pivot line. And that's lining up pretty well as well. So lots of things, lots of confidence there in our favour. And what do we have here? Possible 1.4%. If that all sets up nicely. Yeah, so that's a really good one to watch. There's quite a few like this. So I'll probably get faster as I go through these because there's quite a few that are very similar. Can you see a trend line there that's been broken? Probably is from these highs here, across here, yeah, something like that. Maybe not the best. Yeah, that's pretty good. And that trend line, of course, will hopefully act as some kind of support for the market as it comes down before it breaks back up again and the trade plays in our favour, we hope. So it's always good to have these trend lines and also SR lines, support resistance lines in our stop, between our entry and our stop, just to help protect our position. Also note that we've got the R1, so the S1 down here. So we could trim our stop a little bit, just to get slightly higher reward risk, slightly higher profit. So that could be something else you might want to do, depending on what sort of trader you are. If you're aggressive, then that could be something you want to do. Just trim it just a little bit, makes a fair bit of difference in your profits there. So that's Aussie yen, good one to start with. Aussie Kiwi, back to the daily. So we have seen this hitting this resistance level up here. We've had overextended for quite a while, and it's now starting to show some signs of reversal. So yesterday we had a great bearish looking high test candle, very good. So today is definitely looking like a down day. Let's go to the hourly, and we see we have a breakdown here. So we've got this trend line which we've had for quite a while, finally broken. Finally broken, it's broken here, then broken again and broken again to the downside. That should be enough deceleration. That gives us a lower high. This high to this high is lower, and also we've got a lower low. Where is it? Yeah, just about. Maybe because that's a double bottom, but I think that's probably a lower low. So that's looking nice. The only thing we need to really consider is with our fib, if we do our fib from these, including these wicks, it does go a little bit lower, and the 1 hour 50 is now way behind us. So if we do that, then the position doesn't look quite so good, not quite as well aligned. I'd suggest this is going to pull back to the hourly 50, which is really what we want to see. So what I did with my fib is I trimmed this wick off here. This wick happened at very low volume, so start of the day basically. So I'll put my volume on and we can see this one here. Yeah, look at the volume is practically zero, so that is not really an important trading price action there. So I think we'll just trim that wick off, makes it much nicer. Be aware, of course, if you trim your wicks off, then obviously you get more reward risk, higher profits, but you do stand the chance of getting wicked out. So just be careful of where your stop placement is. So there we go, that's looking quite nice. That's a good possible setup for soon. Putting back right now. And a third Aussie pair here. Then we're going to start the daily, and we've had an overextended run down. We've had RSIs into the oversold territory here, which is bouncing off. Was there a MACD? MACD, yeah, probably. This is a fair bit lower, but only slightly lower on the MACD. So the MACD divergence there as well. And we've had a great reversal candle yesterday. Quite a good low test and a very bullish looking candle. So that looks good for an update today. Back to the hourly. Our fibs line up again, pretty close. Also the pivots are here. That'll help us as well. And then we can put a position in here. Entry around 382. Just below the pivot, and stop just before the 4 hour 50. Or you can always take it higher if you're a more of an aggressive trader. You can want to try a little bit higher. And you stop, maybe you could chin it back a little bit behind the pivot, right on there, 75. I'm not sort of trader you are, but that's a good looking opportunity there, and it's starting to pull back now. So we'll see what happens there. CAD Swiss. CAD Swiss is looking a little bit messy, but we've got a double bottom put in here. Yesterday was quite a bearish looking candle, so there's not really much deceleration there, although this is a very, very strong support level. So we just need to have some proof that it's changing direction if we're going to play it long. But I did notice on the hourly that we have Elliott wave is not that clear, but if we take it from up here somewhere, these highs, we've got wave 1, wave 2 pullback, big wave 3, wave 4 pullback. This could be a wave 5. So this could be a quick 1-to-1 trade, pip snatcher. The hourly 50 is slowly catching up. So not my most favourite of trades, but it's something that you might be interested in. And the other thing to consider here is CAD Swiss. So for me in the Asia session, I'm not expecting this to set up or do anything special until the UK open. Until the UK, Europe starts opening up and big volume comes in, this might set up being a CAD and a Swiss pair. So that's something that might be interesting. The next one is Swiss yen. So we've got on the higher time frames, we do have a MACD divergence. We've had this pullback to the daily 50. Nice wick down to the daily 50. And it's been hovering around for the last few days. And yesterday had quite a good bullish day. So there's a good chance that this pullback. So we had this very strong resistance level here, which we respected once, twice, 3 times, 4 times before it broke out. Now it's come back and retested it, break and retest. So maybe now we're going long again. Monthly and the weekly are very overextended, but these are pretty crazy times in the financial markets. All the currencies are doing weird things because countries are doing, or governments or monetary systems of the country are doing weird things. So we're getting some very overextended runs happening. But we're playing in the direction of the trend. So this is a good looking long trade, which you can play up to the highs or beyond. Okay, so on the hourly chart, we have going sideways for the last few days after this low test of the daily 50. Now we've finally broken above the 1 hour 50, the daily 20, and now the 4 hour 50, this blue line. So we had a good break of all of those. The fib lines up nicely, perfectly with the 4 hour. The 1 hour 50 will catch up perfectly, hopefully. Being a yen pair, it can happen any time of the day, so it probably won't happen for another 4, 5, 6 hours, maybe around the UK Open, get a pullback. And pull back to 382, the pivot and the 1 hour 50. That's lining up perfectly. That's looking like a really nice trade. I'm not sure why I don't have my position in here. So we can put a position here. We can either go behind the pivot or we can play a little bit tighter. Doing a CBO, which is the complete breakout, because we have a break of the 1 hour 50 and a retest, and a break of the 4 hour 50 and a retest, and a break of the daily 20. And pretty much a retest as well. So this is looking like a really nice trade. How high you take it, you're going, I'll just go back to the daily. So we're trading this long. We are looking at going to these highs and maybe beyond. So there's plenty of room to the upside. How high do you want to take it? Let's have a look. So we can go to highs, spike up. This was a news event spike, so probably not that great an idea going to those highs. You could push it to those. That's as high as far as you'd want to push it, I would suggest, unless you have a longer time horizon. Let's have a look at Elliott wave. What do we have? We have wave 1, messing around, consolidation. Wave 2, this is a wave 3. Wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, in which case your profit target would need to be on here somewhere. Or if you go to the 4 hour, let's look at the 4 hour. Here's a 4 hour chart. So we have a wave. Yeah, it's a bit messy, isn't it? Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, pull back. So that could be a big wave 1, wave 2, and a wave 3. Yeah, so it's not that clear. Well, what would I do? Let's just do a fib extension on it and we'll have a look. So from these lows here, counting this as a double bottom, good place to start, which is where our fibs run from as well. Go to these highs, comes back to here somewhere. So 618 would give us 1.8%, or you could push it to 1.272, which is that roughly where I had it before? So I had it up here, didn't I? Which was between 1.272 and 1.618, which is a good wave 3 profit target, and that gives over 4%, so that's looking nice. So what I will do is go in the trade, take profit up here somewhere, but trail my stop to make sure I don't, as it goes in my favor, I'll make sure I'm not putting too much profits at risk. So that's been my ultimate profit target. If I end up getting out of here at 2 or 3%, I'll be very happy with that. So I'll trail my stop. Okay, so Swiss yen, that's probably my favorite one because of so many things in our favor there. Euro CAD. Euro CAD. So we've had, what have we got here? So on the daily, from these lows, we've got a wave 1, so daily 50, wave 2 pullback, wave 3, break of the daily 50, wave 4 pullback, so the daily 50, a big low test, and now we're going long. And we've got a nice bullish candle yesterday. So that's looking like a long day today. And here we have a nice looking setup again. We've got, it's a bit wicky, it's a bit sideways. We've now got a definite break clearly above the hourly 50, the 4 hour 50, and it's pulling back to Hopefully going to pull back to the 4 hour 50, 1 hour 50. And there's a 382 here, and there's the daily pivot as well. All very nice targets for an entry. Just noticed got some trend lines happening here. Let's put those in. What do we have? It's a little bit messy, but something like that. Got up here, testing here, wick through it here, tested. Yeah, that's a pretty good trend line. Is that going to protect us? Maybe. Something to be aware of. These trend lines, if they're within reach, they tend to be a magnet for the price action. So what you might find is it'll wick down to this trend line, and maybe even just through it, and then go in your favor. So what you want to be wary of is entering up here somewhere. I personally will wait for a break of 382 and the 1 hour 50 or the 4 hour 50. Euro CAD, again, it's a European US pair, so it's not going to set up anytime soon, I suggest. So when it comes back, when it does set up, the 1 hour 50 might be up here somewhere. So that would be a kind of entry trigger for me. But just be aware that this might act as a magnet and suck price action down here. You don't want to get into here and get wicked out here, then it goes rocketing off in your favor. So maybe a bit of caution on the entry, maybe look for some kind of price action to test this line, and then maybe a 5-minute break or something. Break of the 5-minute 50 as an entry trigger, trade along. So that's a good looking one, so be wearing that trend line. Right. Now pound has been doing some funny things recently. This one's looking quite nice. We've got this nice low test yesterday and a bullish close. So we've got a nice green candle there. So looking for a long. I should have my arrow in here, shouldn't I? We've still a nice big bold yellow arrow to remind me that's exactly what we're looking for. And look at this. So on here we have resistance here, this trend line got broken last night, nice break up here, it's now starting to pull back. So if that pulls back to 382, which is where the pivot is, which is where the 1 hour 50 is pretty much. Again, we've got this trend line which will act as protection for our stop. That's looking like quite a nice little setup as well. So that could set up any time in the next, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 hours. That could be a good one. Pound USD, probably not too dissimilar. Very similar looking. Low test, looking quite bullish since then. On the lower time frames, we've got a trend line break last night. Again, a massive break of the 1 hour 50. Nice run up, putting back very nicely. 382 on the fib lines up with the pivot. That's looking good. This trend line is not going to do us any favors if it does retest, but I think it's too far away. It breaks here, breaks the 1 hour 50 and the pivot, and comes all the way back down here, then it's yeah, probably not going to happen. So I won't worry about that one in this case, but looking for a nice test here and then a long trade. That's looking good as well, pound USD. Right, what's next? Kiwi CAD. Another one we looked at yesterday. Nice deceleration. We had a really good deceleration yesterday. Bullish candle, so we're looking like it's going long. We're doing a reversal. So on the daily here, we're only going to trade back to that trend line or the daily 20 at the most, I'd suggest. And which is, you can see on here, the daily 20 is this red line. We've got a 4 hour 50 as a conservative profit target, and that looks okay. So again, we've got the fib lines up with the pivot. The 1 hour 50 is slightly higher, so it's not that perfect, but if you get a break of the 1 hour 50, wick the pivot, give an entry, and then trade that along. So I will wait for a test of that 382. So, whoops, not that one. So that's what I'll wait for an entry trigger, because we've got the pivot there as well. So that's a nice looking trade possibility there. Kiwi CAD, Kiwi Swiss, probably not too dissimilar to Kiwi CAD. Yeah, got a nice major level here, which is wicked yesterday. Low test, great deceleration on the daily, looking like it might be going long today. Here we've got on the hourly, we've got a big downtrend, lower lows, lower highs, and we haven't really changed that yet. So we need to have some proof. Got this trend line, lines up very nicely. So when we get a break of that trend line, and a break of the 1 hour 50, and a pullback to the 1 hour 50, we get a long trade up to our 4 hour 50. That's what I'm looking for there. We need some kind of confirmation break and a retest of the 1 hour 50, which means that should really be a blue one. Kiwi yen. Okay, another one we looked at yesterday. So the reversal was coming, and a bullish day yesterday with a nice low test. That's looking like we're going long today. And again, we've got a trend line. It's already been broken. The 1 hour 50 has been broken. Nice break. Hopefully get a nice retest, putting back here to around the 382, which lines up with the pivot, which lines up the 1 hour 50. So all looking very nice there for possible trade later today. That's looking good. Kiwi USD, similar kind of thing. Got a level here, which you kind of hit. We've got, these are kind of all-time lows right now. So looking at the monthly, there's not really much to go from for support levels, but we've definitely got a reversal or a deceleration and reversal candle yesterday. Nice bullish candle. And again, we've got a trend line on the 1 hour, 1 hour 50. It's been strongly broken, and the trend line's been broken. A retest of that 1 hour 50. The pivots here as well. So again, that's looking like a nice looking setup. So many trades or setups today are looking pretty damn good. Okay, dollar CAD. Again, we've got deceleration at this major level. Really bearish candle yesterday, which is looking nice. And we've got this long trend line in place, which is strongly broken yesterday. It's pulled away, broken the 1 hour 50, pull back, and retested the pivot, the 1 hour 50, 382, perfect entry. This is the kind of entry you could use an entry order for, because there's so many things in your favor. We've had deceleration. We haven't actually had a lower high yet, so maybe not in this case. Had we had a lower high, that would be an entry order. So you need some kind of confirmation you're getting a lower high, I suggest this one. But many of the others we've looked at where we've had the 1 hour 50 retest with a 382 test and the pivot being tested as well, they can be entry orders if that's your trading style. So that's looking nice as well. Dollar yen, last one of my setting up right now ones. Again, we've been hanging around this level for quite a while, 2 weeks plus, and I'll be getting some kind of breakdown. Let's have a look on the hourly, where it's been a bit messy. 4 hour 50 is now pretty close, so there's not really much on offer to the 4 hour 50, but should we get what am I thinking here? We're still getting higher. We've got a lower high now on the 1 hour. Yeah, it's not looking great. I think personally I would wait for a break of the 4 hour 50. So we've definitely got confirmation that stuff's happening here, and the trend has changed. We've got a definite lower high and a lower low, and yeah, that's probably the best thing to do is wait for a break at the 4 hour 50, the CBO trade. So I'll do for that one. So I'll mark that bin as blue because it's not quite going to happen anytime soon. Right, and there's 3 others which may give something later today or tomorrow, and which or have something interesting to talk about. So CAD yen. Right, here we have The breakdown below the daily 50, sort of meandering pullback yesterday. Nothing really obvious happening there. I'm looking for it to go down because the momentum does seem to be down, but I'm expecting some kind of pullback to the 4-hour 50 or the daily 50 first, which it seems to be doing as I suggested a few hours ago when I put this in. It's following my line quite nicely. Hopefully get some kind of deceleration around here and just break down. And then it breaks down below the 4-hour 50. Sorry, below the 1-hour 50 and a retest. That could be a short trade, or what else do we have? If you were bold and saw the right kind of setup, you could be trading this short as ACB, advanced continuation breakout. So you'd be entering here somewhere as it rejects the 4-hour 50, stop up here somewhere behind the highs, and then take it down to these lows. That's an ACB setup, which might be worth thinking about. We need to see nice deceleration, which is not looking that great at the moment. It's looking a little bit rapid. What we really need to see is some kind of deceleration pattern like that. Even that's a bit steep. Anyway, something to keep an eye on. Euro yen. So this one we've had the pullback to the daily 50. Not really very nice deceleration, but it's in that zone where anything can happen. So it's not looking a bit similar to the last one we looked at, the CAD yen, but this euro yen on the 1 hour, it's already pulled back to the daily 50, and it's just hit the 4-hour 50. So we just need some confirmation now, and then trade it down to lows, recent lows. Maybe the 1-hour 50 keeps trundling up here. We're going to break, retest, and take it down there. Okay, Euro Kiwi is the last one we'll quick look at. So beautiful deceleration up here, but a bit wicky, so it's a bit tricky on the lower time frame, I think. But we do have deceleration, a beautiful high test yesterday, and hoping for a short trade soon. What we seem to have is a trend line. Where that trend line breaks, the 1-hour 50 has been broken, but not really. It's been broken okay, but we haven't had, well, maybe we sort of had a lower high there, but not really a conclusive lower high. So not an obvious trend change yet. And I certainly wouldn't want to trade through this trend line. So what we really want to see now is for it to break clearly through this trend line, pull back to the 1-hour 50, and you can take some kind of short trade there to the 4-hour 50 or beyond. Right. Oh, that's a mouthful for me. Stop share. Good. So as you can see, there are a lot of opportunities today. Sometimes you get sport for choice and it's hard to know which ones to go for. Just pick which one you think is best. Hope to get a setup. If you don't quite get a setup for one you think is best, then maybe one of the others ones will play out for you as well. Anyway, good luck. Hopefully you'll get some good results coming out of this today. Lots of opportunity. I'll see you on Friday, tomorrow morning. Okay, see you. Bye-bye.